Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. So it wants it to be. Why is it like this? All right, I guess that's how we're gonna do it. Okay, so start live video. Checking connection. You're now live. Okay, guys, so today's training is on how to earn $100,000 over the next 4 months this summer. Now, here's the thing. Some of you have already came in here with the mindset that you know. And so for those of you that think that it can't be done, guess what? It can't be done. And for those of you that came in here with the mindset that, hey, this is a possibility for me, this is something that I can do, it's going to work, okay? You have to understand where we're at right now. The summer months are our busiest months in real estate, you guys. This is essentially our Christmas season. It's the equivalent of the Christmas season for what it is, for what retail is during the holidays in the end of the year, okay? So you have to understand that during the next 4 months, there will probably be more activity than there is at any other time during the year. All right, so we're going to talk about how to capitalize on that and on the stuff that I need you guys to do. The next slide is the event that we were talking about. So what we're going to do is, as a group, as a company, we're going to be going to the Tom Ferry event on August 13th. The cost of that is $397. It's August 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. On one of those days, we're probably going to have a company dinner. If everything goes right, we may be even trying to schedule some type of a Disney Day package to make Sheila happy. Okay, so I really want to make sure that everybody is at this event. I don't want to hear excuses about how you're not going to be in town. You need to make sure that you invest in your business. All right, you have to invest in your business. You have to invest in yourself. You need to be sharpening the axe at all times. So you need to make sure that you're at this event. All right, let's go to the next slide real quick. All right. So, summer months are our busiest months: June, July, August, September. Okay, now, it sounds crazy to think. Did the phone just stop?
No, I just want to make sure it's working.
Okay, thanks. So, it sounds crazy, and I just realized that the camcorder is not recording, which is great, because that... Thank you. Okay, so, if you really think about it, to make $100K over the next 4 months, okay, at least in our state. Now, if we were in another state, I could see how some people might think that it's a little bit more unrealistic than it is. But because we're talking California dollars, it's much more realistic and it's much closer than you think, because you've got 4 months. And if you do 2 transactions per month, that's about roughly $100K. And I'm going to break it down for you. So here's what I want you guys to consider. Really, really ask yourself these questions, because this is really important. Number one, how many hours are you really working, and how many hours are you really devoting to your profession? All right? And the reason that I have to ask yourself this, these are gonna be some really uncomfortable questions for some of us, because the truth is that some of us aren't investing full-time hours in your business, in your profession, and then later on we're saying that the profession doesn't pay you back the way it should when you're not giving it full-time hours, or you're not giving, even if you're doing this part-time, you're not giving the part-time dedication that it deserves or that it requires. So you guys understanding that? So I want you to start keeping track of how many hours you really are working, all right? And when I say working, I mean going out there and doing the activities that generate business, which are what? Talking to people, going to appointments, writing up offers. So it's either listing presentations, writing up offers, or prospecting. And prospecting can be inbound and outbound. All right, so I don't want anybody thinking that when I say prospecting, that just means cold calling, because that's, you guys already know how I am about technology and implementing a whole bunch of internet stuff, okay? So really ask yourself, how many hours are you working? Right? So if you're good at inbound prospecting, if you're good at people contacting you, how many hours are you spending following up with those people? Are you doing it for a half hour and then you're giving up? Did you try only once or twice and then you stop contacting them? Keep track of that, all right? Are you, if you're a full-time real estate agent, full-time, and this is all you're doing, are you really putting in the 40 hours? Right? And there are some, look, I've been there. There are times where I knew I wasn't working to my full potential or to my full capacity, and I wasn't putting in the exact hours that I should be putting in, all right? Now, are you taking it seriously? That's really, really important. Busy activities versus money-making activities. If you're reorganizing your desk, if you're reorganizing your office, if you're reorganizing your workspace, if you're going out there and worrying about the orientation of the posters on your walls, right? That's busy work. That's not activity work that is going to generate you guys income. You guys get that, right? So you have to make sure that you learn how to distinguish between what is busy activities and what is productive activities that is going to generate you income, all right? And start focusing most of your efforts on that, all right? And then here's the last question, and you guys may have heard Mike Ferry say this a lot. But would you hire you if you were looking for an employee? I'm gonna let that one sink in, right? Just for a little bit, okay? Because if you wouldn't hire yourself, then really, how could you expect somebody else to hire you to help them with one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, now, let's break it down, because it's one thing for me to say it, it's another thing for me to break it down for you so that you understand, okay? In its simplest form, okay, in order for you to generate $100,000 during these next 4 summer months, you're going to need to speak to about 54 contacts a day over the next 120 days. And here's how we're breaking this down, okay? So, typically, if you speak to 40 contacts, and 40 contacts, again, is a variety of different ways. It can be cold calling, it can be door knocking, it can be prospecting where people are contacting you. Josephine Kachu, you guys all know her? Yep. She just wrapped up a lease from somebody that contacted her that found her on Google. Why? Because she set up all of those Google service locations. Today, if I'm not mistaken, the only reason she's not here is because she's out in Westwood with Gino, and they're showing condos to a client that found her on Google in Westwood, and she's out there showing them units right now. So when I say 40 contacts, again, the misconception here is a lot of people, you guys associate it with the grind. You guys associate it with calling. You guys associate it with canvassing. Look, that is a part of it, but it is not the only thing that we do when I talk about contacts. Contacts can also be following up with your leads. Contacts can also be following up with lead subscription services. So for instance, I'm a big proponent of bold leads, right? I like bold leads, okay? And if they're sending me leads and I'm reaching out to those leads and I'm contacting those leads, okay, that's a contact, all right? So every 40 contacts will typically result in a meeting, okay, typically. Some type of a meeting. That could be a listing presentation, that could be a buyer's or consultation, it could be something, but 40 contacts typically will result in one meeting. For every 3 meetings, you're probably going to get 1 contract, okay? Typically. That's 30%. And that's a low statistic. So if you're closing at about 30%, that means you need to work a little bit more on your closing, but I'm going to be conservative. So 3 meetings is typically going to be 1 contract, all right? So in order for you to get like a listing, let's just talk about a listing right now, that means that you have to have 120 contacts to get 1 listing. Are you guys understanding the math? Okay? I really want this to be broken down because you're going to understand how 54 contacts a day is going to get you the 2 to 3 transactions over the next per month over the next 4 months, which in our California dollar can turn into $100,000, right? What's the average price point right now, guys and gals? Let's say 500,000. 500,000 on a 2.5% commission. You're looking at between $12,500 to $15,000 in commission, right? That means every 2 transactions is roughly between $24,000 to $30,000 in commission. So if you close at least 2 transactions per month over the next 4 months, how much does that equate to? $100,000. Okay, it's actually not as hard as some people think it is. So 120 contacts equals 1 listing. Great. 3 listings is probably going to equate to 1 escrow, you guys, right now. Okay, so if you have about 3 listings, as long as they're priced according to market, you'll probably be averaging about 1 closing per month for every 3 listings, just because the inventory levels are a little higher. There's more properties on the market, so they're taking a little bit longer to sell unless the seller is smart and prices it aggressively so that they can steal the competition and the eyeballs away from the other properties that are on the market. You guys with me? Okay, so 3 listings will probably result in 1 escrow. So that means in order to get 1 escrow, you need how many contacts? 360 contacts. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. And by the way, I'm going to put this on our private Facebook group. So for those of you that are looking online, you can go to our private Facebook group, Real Estate Real Talk. You can join that private Facebook group and you'll have access to these slides too. So 360 contacts is roughly about 1 escrow. If you want 12 escrows over the next 4 months, okay, that's 4,320 contacts. Divide that by 80 days. Now, why did I do 80 days?
Weekends.
4 months, and let's say you want to take the weekends off. Okay? You want to take the weekends off, that's 54 contacts a day. You guys see how I got that? So if you really break it down, and that's only working Monday through Friday, 54 contacts a day, however you want to get those contacts. You want to prospect on the phone, prospect on the phone. You want to go canvassing, go canvassing. You want to hand out business cards wherever you go, hand out your business cards wherever you go. You want to go online and prospect using a private Facebook group, whatever it is that you want to do, you have access to it, but you need to set a goal of at least 54 contacts. That means 54 people that you speak to per day, however you want to do it. Is everybody with me? Okay. Now, here's what you have to ask yourself. What systems are you using? Okay? So right now, you guys, how many of you, honestly, how many of you have more than one, let's say more than 2 systems that you guys are actively using to go out there and contact people? How many systems do you guys have? How many?
Open house,
Open house,
radio,
radio,
bold lead,
bold leads,
and social.
social media. Hector, how many do you have?
3 as well. Bold leads, Sphere,
Bold lead, Sphere,
and Facebook.
Facebook. Josh.
Open house,
Open
door
house.
knocking, cold calling, direct mail.
Direct mail. Okay.
I think it's-
Everybody else? Anyone else? Chen? No?
Like street, cold calling, social media, open house.
We're gonna talk about social media, okay? So when you guys say social media, how are you using social media to really contact people though? Okay? Because let me tell you, just posting memes is not contacts, you guys, all right? There's a difference. There's a way to use social media, you just have to learn how to use it, okay? So cold calling, canvassing, open houses, advertising on social media. You guys are still not implementing any type of, other than Hamed, really, that I've seen, right? Unless I'm wrong here, you guys. And nobody else is really implementing any type of online social media marketing that we're gonna talk about in a little bit. There's flyers, and then there's referral agents. Who here has closed a transaction this year from another agent that referred them business? Show of hands. Chen, good for you. Okay, who else? Anyone? So here's what's happening. What's happening is that there's other business. Did you guys know that one of the biggest states to migrate to our state right now happens to be New Yorkers? Highly educated New Yorkers, right? That make 6-figure incomes that are coming over here. So if you were to go out there and just reach out to agents over in New York, right, and introduce yourself and say, hey, how could I help your business? If I have anyone moving from California to New York, I can refer them to you, and likewise, I'm hoping I can count on you for the exact same reciprocity, right? Do you think that there's a possibility that we could get some people over from New York being referred over to you over here? Yeah. So what's happening is we become so confined and we've got the blinders on where all we think about is, oh, you have to cold call, and then you're not thinking outside the box enough to think that maybe you could go out there and actually network with other agents in other states so that when they refer other business over here to California, you can get those referrals too. I mean, let's be real here. If you close an extra 5, 6, 7 transactions this year from other agents in other states that are referring you business, you know, just because you've been good at networking with them, could that impact your business? 100%, okay? And we're getting, and this was an interesting statistic that I heard, so we're getting a lot of New Yorkers that are coming over here, you guys. Why would they be coming over here?
The weather.
Rice.
Robert's hair.
Hot chicks.
All right, so then there's the referral agents, that's big, okay? I want you leaving this meeting thinking outside the box and understanding that there's more than one way to skin a fish, right? Okay, you have to do that. If you leave here with anything, I want you leaving here knowing that there's more than one way. Okay? Now, email marketing. Who's doing email marketing? Who's doing email blasts to their clients? Okay, I know everybody thinks that nobody reads their emails anymore, but they do. They just happen to read them at a slower pace than they do like text messages or social media. Okay? Who here who has opened up their inbox today to open up emails? We all do it. People do it. People are still using email. Yes, there's Messenger, and we can talk about that a little bit later on, but people are still using email. You have a database already in your Gmail. You know that, right? Everybody that's contacted you, and everybody that you've emailed, and anyone that's emailed you through your Gmail, Gmail stores them as a contact, or Google stores it as a contact for you. And did you know that you could export your whole Gmail contact list? And then what you could do with that list is you could upload it into MailChimp, right? They'll give you, I think it's up to 2,000 contacts for free, and then you can send them an email campaign once every 2 weeks. Who here has done that? Other than Yvette for the College of Real Estate. Okay, so did you guys know that you could do that?
No.
Then it gets better. That same contact list that you get from Google, you can then upload into Facebook as an audience, and then you can upload it into Facebook as an audience, and you can create a video ad as simple as, hey, it's Paul, listen, I don't know if you guys knew it or not, I have my real estate license now, I'm really excited about it, I can't wait to help you, your friends, and your family buy or sell real estate during the busiest months of the year, the summer months. Make sure you call me, give me a call today, right? Whatever ad you want to do, you make the ad, you put it up there, you upload your audience, and you advertise that ad to them. Then you create a Facebook pixel, and that ad follows them around wherever they go, okay? You guys, you gotta think bigger, okay? You gotta get your head out of the sand and think that there's only one way to do this. Trust me, there's more than one way, and you have to be hitting them from every single angle so that way they keep you top of mind. The biggest reason, okay, and I heard a crazy statistic, all right, before I go into the biggest reason, but 45% of the people that used a real estate agent to buy their home 6 months later couldn't even remember their name. Couldn't even remember their name 6 months later, okay? Whose fault is that?
Us.
Us as a profession. Because we're not doing our job going back to them and reminding them of what we do, okay? So, there's email marketing. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. Then there's SMS, text message marketing, okay? If you use a CRM like Lion Desk, you know that they have a built-in CRM that you can text message people back and forth with, okay? And then it keeps track of the text message for you. All right, now I'm gonna take it a step further. So then you say, well, you know, a lot of people aren't responding to the text messages, or a lot of people aren't answering the phone. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but when people call you on your cell phone, have you been seeing it that says scam?
Yeah.
Who here has seen that? Okay, do you guys pick up the phone?
No.
Okay, are you naive to think that when people get your phone calls, they don't see scam on their phone too? Sorry to tell you, man. It is what it is. So, if you're wondering why more and more people aren't picking up the phone, it's because you've got things like that happening. Okay, you've got Google Pixel that now screens the call before they even get to pick up the phone and hear who they're talking to. There's more than one way. So what I'm sharing with you is fine. So why don't you just start using SMS, text message marketing? You guys know what SMS stands for? Short Messenger Service. Okay? It's text messaging. And there's ways where you can go out there and communicate with text messages, and you know, it's sad that I know this, but there's ways that you can actually change the number every time you text somebody, and there's like burner numbers now, so that way the text messages are coming from different, like, if Google it, I'm not gonna go into it here, but my point is that at the end of the day, we're marketers. Okay? Yes, you're a real estate agent, but you better start learning marketing. You better start learning how to get a hold of an audience, how to create an audience, how to captivate an audience, and how to keep an audience. And this is how you're going to do it. Okay? All right. So, how do you stay top of mind? Number one, you need a CRM. Okay? You need to have a CRM. What does CRM stand for, you guys?
Customer relationship
Manager. Customer relationship manager. Now, MailChimp is easy. Like I said, you've got 2,000 contacts for free that you can email them. You should be emailing them at least once every 2 weeks, okay? Something about the community, something that's going on. If you're making a YouTube video, make the YouTube video, and this is a tip for those of you that are trying to build your YouTube channel. Make your YouTube video, and then every time you make that YouTube video, you send a blast out to everybody that's in your database, letting them know that you just uploaded a new video, so that way you can get views, right? What's the best way to create a crowd?
show it to more people.
By having a crowd, right? If you have a crowd, it creates a bigger crowd and a bigger crowd, okay? So all I'm saying is if you're going to be using like YouTube as a marketing tool and you're going to be creating these videos, well, create the video, put it on there, send out an email. Hey everybody, I'm really excited in the email that I just created this new video. In this video, I'm going to share with you one of my new properties and some of the other stuff that I've been up to. It'll increase the chances of you getting clicks on that YouTube video, and the more times that people see, videos that have been viewed more than once, it increases your chances of being found. You guys understand that? Trust me, there's a science to all of this. Okay, there really is. You just have to start thinking a little bit outside the box of what you've been conditioned to think, all right? So you need a CRM. I talked about the Google Export Contact List. I didn't really talk about LinkedIn, but you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. LinkedIn is huge, you guys. LinkedIn is huge. You have to use LinkedIn, and you have to be adding people from LinkedIn onto your database on a daily basis. Why? Because LinkedIn allows you to export the whole database that you build in LinkedIn. Yeah.
Do you customize your advertising on LinkedIn based on LinkedIn, which is a professional business social media?
So,
I mean,
LinkedIn,
do you post all the things that you post on Instagram and Facebook on LinkedIn as well, or not?
I do, and I also blog on LinkedIn, and I post those videos, and I share the YouTube videos. I share a lot of the same content on LinkedIn, a lot of it. But I also use their blogging service too. I could give a class on LinkedIn, but we're not going to talk about that today. LinkedIn advertising is, and Johnny and I have tested this, it is a higher cost per click, okay? It's much higher, but you are dealing with a more sophisticated person, right? Because LinkedIn is where people are, they want to be found professionally, okay? So it's a little bit of a different market, but anyway. So I'm not going to post any pictures of me partying, let's put it that way. Okay? All right, so LinkedIn. There's Vulcan, there's Mojo. You can export your contact list, okay? So same deal, you guys, same deal. On Vulcan, do they give you expireds?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you export that expired list? Yeah. Can you then create an audience from that, upload it into Facebook, and then target them with ads? Yeah. You can then create a Facebook pixel that continues to target them. You can then upload it into MailChimp and send out an email blast to all the expireds as well. Right? See, again, there's more tools that you're not taking advantage of. Your audience needs to hear you way more than you think. But Paul, look, I don't want to inundate them with so many different messages. I can't connect with them on LinkedIn and then Facebook and then Twitter and then Instagram, and you're telling me to connect with them on all fronts. Yes, I am. You know why? Why?
Well, the more they see you.
You're in their head.
You're in their head, the more often they see you, but more importantly, you don't know what platform they really use. Some people really like Instagram, and then some people don't really use it as much as they use Facebook, and some people use Twitter more than they use. It just really just depends. You don't really know. Like, you know, when Johnny and I are targeting athletes really love using Twitter. They like using Twitter because it's real-time sports. Anyway, my point is you need to attack it on all fronts. Now, I am going to tell you, on top of that, and I didn't put it on there, there's something called Cole Realty Resources, okay? Cole Realty Resources is a tool that allows you to download farms, okay? Based on zip code and area. And the best part is, they have mobile phones and they have emails, okay? Look, data is big business, you guys, okay? Data is big business, and it's readily available now. You have all this information that's available to you that years ago was only available to the likes of McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, and it's all available to you guys, and you're not taking advantage of it. You're really not. It's all there. So Cole Realty Resources, it does cost money. Everything costs a little bit of money. You can download farms with mobile numbers and emails. Do the exact same thing. Get the farm, upload the audience, target the audience, email the audience. You have their mobile numbers now. Now you can text message them as well.
Cold what?
Cole Realty Resources. All right, cool. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. So how you guys feeling right now? Yeah, you good?
Better.
Okay, if
Terrified.
terrified?
Overwhelmed.
It's a lot of information. I get it. But even if you take just 5% of this and you start to apply it, it'll make a difference. The thing is that later on, when you guys see me doing this, here's what happens. Ready? You guys will come into my office. You'll see me doing the things that I'm telling you to do here, and then you're gonna. This is the look I get. Nobody told me that you could do that. I swear to God. I swear to God. That's what happens. I will talk about this, and then I'll go do it, and then you guys will see me do it, and then you'll come in my office and you're like, nobody told me. I'm removing that as an excuse. I don't want to hear that anymore. Okay, we're all big boys and big girls. Time to put on the big boy underwears and big boy boomers. Okay? All right? So that's why I'm doing this. Okay? Now, Data and targeting your audience. So another tool, been verified. All right? You get a lead. You contact someone. You get their address. That's all you've got, and their phone number, right? And let's say you were prospecting them, or you were door knocking and they didn't want to give you any information, but now you have their address. What do you do?
Mail them something.
Okay? But mailing is great, but I just still feel it's a little passive. You have no control over whether they're going to get the mail, open the mail, or even acknowledge the mail. Right?
We're not.
We're not.
You can go door knock again.
Investigate about them.
Well, if you go to Been Verified, you can get everything. You can get a whole report.
You can even get their moms, dads.
You don't have everything. Phone number, prior phone numbers, emails, prior emails, download them all, upload them into your audience, and let one of them work. Okay? So it's there, you guys. So you just have to use the tools that are available so that you can go back and prospect them. Okay. Facebook Pixel. This one is a little trickier. Okay? It is a little trickier, but fortunately for you guys, we have someone in India that is handling all of this stuff for us. So for those of you that have the REH Facebook website already, right, what she can do is she can then place a pixel for you. You have to create it on your own Facebook Pixel account. Then what she'll do is she'll put that pixel on a specific page on your site. So if you have a home evaluation site, for instance, let's just say, okay, I'm going to use Yvette's. Yvette, Hulan, and then we're going to say, I think it's house value. I could be wrong, so just bear with me. Yeah, so this shows up. Actually, we're gonna have to clean it up because it's not working. But my point is that you can just take this page, and she can put your pixel from your Facebook account onto this page, and then anytime somebody comes onto that page, they will then be tracked for 90 days. And you'll be able to retarget those ads. That's scary. That's the way it works. Okay? So be careful what you're looking at on the internet. Alright? So, you need to learn how to use it. You don't have to learn how to install it. Okay? That's the thing. I'm telling you. The good news is we have good back-end support. So you don't have to know how to install it. You just have to pick the page that you want it installed on. And if you're not going to use the REH one, then don't use the REH one. But go get a website. You know, I mean, we gave it to you guys for free. Just pick a page, put a pixel on there, and then start promoting that page so that people can advertise it. Or people can see it, and then they can log that pixel in.
90 days, you said, right?
Yeah, it's good for 90 days, that pixel. So for 90 days, they get to see your mug. Or my mug. All right, now, let's talk about the sales process. Okay? One, you get the lead. Okay? Again, I don't care if it's inbound or outbound. Did we turn off the AC? Yeah, you know how I know?
Yeah, I know, yeah, I can tell too.
Can you turn on the AC, please? Okay, so you get the lead, right? That's the first thing that happens. Now, there's two ways you're going to get the lead. It's either by your outbound efforts or by your inbound efforts, okay? Then what do you have to do once you get that lead?
You gotta start working.
Initiate the contact, okay? You have to. Now, it depends, right? Because if you got that lead prospecting over the phone, you have that person's contact information, you have their information, so what would you do next?
Go get it.
Keep the information.
Put them in a CRM.
Yeah.
Immediately. Here, okay, so I'm going to walk you through what I would suggest, what I would do, or what I do when I get a lead. Okay, so lead comes in. Somebody, I speak to them on the phone. They say, you know, I might be thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 4 months. We're not really sure. Great, fantastic. I try to get their email, try to get their mobile number. Now, what if they say, no, you know what, I'm not going to give it to you. This is over the phone. I'm not going to give it to you, but just call me back in about 3 to 4 months. Okay, no problem. So hop on Been Verified. Look for their mobile. Look for their email. Now I have that information, I upload it into an audience, and then I start trying to retarget them, and then I start trying to communicate with them via text. All right? That's how I'm going to communicate with that prospect, and then I'm going to follow up with them. Then I'm going to do an email blast, and I'm going to make sure that they get an email from me at least once every 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure they get an SMS text message from me at least once every 2 weeks. Then I'm going to look for them on Facebook. Then I'm going to look for them on LinkedIn. Then I'm going to look for them on Instagram, and I'm going to connect with them on all fronts. Who here's doing that right now?
Paul.
Not to that extent.
Yeah. Okay? Again, you have to understand that your lead is everybody else's lead. Okay? I'm telling you that right now. You can't make the mistake of thinking that your prospect isn't gonna be prospected by somebody else. And here's the worst part. The worst part is that you'll talk to someone who expresses an interest in what you do, and you'll talk to them, and you'll follow up, and you'll follow up, and you'll follow up, and then you're afraid of losing the contact because you're being overly aggressive, and then you know what? 2 weeks later, they'll go list with somebody else just because you had done all that work, but it was that last person that was able to close them on making that move. Right? Things like that have happened to me many times in my career. And so when you ask me, why do I operate this way? It's because of that. And let me tell you, after it happens to you, even half a dozen times, you start to get tired. And then you say, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that I work with this contact and I maintain communication with them. So get the lead, you initiate the contact, get a hold of them, make sure that you have access to them on all those fronts. Then you got to qualify the lead, right? You got to make sure that they're a good lead to work with, so you're not wasting your time. Then you want to try to set up a meeting, okay? Set up meetings, okay? Set up appointments. If it's a buyer, set up a buyer's consultation. If it's a listing presentation, hi, John or Jane. Listen, I need to come over so that I can analyze the property and get you what your property is really worth. No, I don't need that. I already saw it on Zillow. You're absolutely right. And I can appreciate why you like Zillow so much. I want to make sure that I give you an accurate price. I can be there Thursday, I can be there Friday, which is better for you. Right? Don't try to beat people up on their values just because the internet tells them something else. Don't tell them they're wrong. Zillow's a great service. Redfin's a great service. They're all a great service. They give you great values. I want to make sure they're accurate, so I can be there Thursday or Friday, which is better for you. Mornings or afternoons, which is better for you. 1 or 3 o'clock. Yeah? Come on, guys.
Yep.
Alright. Okay. Overcome objections. You got to learn how to overcome the objections, and then you have to make sure that you follow up. If they don't sign a contract after your first meeting, don't stress out. Okay? I can't tell you the number of times that I've gone into meetings with people, and then I leave there, and we don't get the contract, and then I feel like a total loser. Okay? And I'm upset with myself, and I feel like I let myself down. I feel like I let them down. Okay, because I know that if I would work hard for them, but more importantly, you feel like it was a total loss. But I will say this: there have been many times where I've gotten business and I didn't get the contract right there on the spot, and there have been times where I did get the contract on the spot, and 2 days later they were trying to cancel it on me anyway. Okay, at the end of the day, you have to learn how to detach yourself from the final outcome. Okay. Don't worry about the outcome. The only thing that you can control is who? Yourself. So just focus on them. All right. Now, last thing, follow up. What systems are in place for your follow up? I think we already talked about that, so I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. But you guys get my point. You need to have systems in place that are helping you follow up. All right. It's very important. You need to start operating and thinking of yourself as a business, you guys. As a business. Okay? And what I mean by that is that you have systems in place that are operating when you're not working, when you're not in front of the computer, when you're not on the phone, when you're not door knocking. These systems have to be in place, and yes, do they take a little bit of time to ramp up and build? They do. Okay? They do. But the truth is, if you don't build them now, they're not going to get built, and eventually you're just going to be exchanging time for money. Okay? And that's not why you got in this profession. All right? You can do that at a job. Okay, and then lastly, close. All right, make sure that you're learning how to close. All right, so this training wasn't supposed to be really long. I just want to make sure that you guys understand it's not that hard to do 2-3 deals per month over the next 4 months if you put your head down and commit to hitting the numbers that you need to hit and holding yourself accountable. That means that every day you need to be communicating and contacting with at least 54 people. Again, however you want to do it. However you want to do it. You want to do it on the phone, do it on the phone. You want to do it by text, do it by text. You want to do it by email, do it by email. You want to do it on social media, that's fine, do it on social media. But the point is, you need to make sure that you're doing this and you're contacting those people. You can't just sit back and think that the business is going to come to you guys. Any questions? Yeah.
Maybe I'm judging before it happens, but when I'm thinking about all the activities that you are saying, hey, do it, I just terrified and I panic because I'm telling myself, hey, look, I'm doing things and I'm super busy. I'm working more than 40 hours a week, including weekends. And I'm like, hey, this is the hell of the job. How can I personally handle these? All of these. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it might be personal, but I just leave them as is and I go, what the hell? Let me do the things that I can do.
Right.
So, any suggestion, any tip, because I think it's a lot of work, if I have to learn social media properly to.
But I don't think, I think that's the challenge. I think the challenge is you think it's harder than it is, and then once you do it, you start to discover that it's actually not that hard, but there is a little bit of a learning curve. And I think that's the problem that's plaguing our industry. Our industry is in a real state of panic right now, okay? I'm telling you that right now. You don't believe me? Go read the news. There was an email that just went out today. Century 21 Beachside and Coldwell Banker Beachside is shutting down. You've got a whole, I'm laying it out for you guys. I'm telling you what's up, okay? The biggest hurdle that people in our profession have is that they're not willing to adapt. So they don't want to adapt to all these things that are going on because we've been so conditioned to doing things a certain way. And if we're not careful, what's going to happen is what Uber did to the cab industry, the technology is going to do to our industry because we don't want to wise up.
Well, to share some thought on what Hamed spoke about, I think what happens, Hamed, and it happened to me, and I'm telling you from personal experience, Paul's my nephew, and I see him doing all this, and there's a couple of things that I'm just not good at. However, that doesn't mean that I didn't have to go out there and learn. Here's the problem that I think I see that a lot of our a lot of our agents are doing. They're actually, instead of just taking one step at a time, or taking a bite of the sandwich, one bite at a time, and you're gonna eat it, they're sitting there and looking at that staircase all the way up, and they're saying, shit, I gotta climb all that? There's no way. What you gotta do is just take one step. Don't go out and tackle everything what Paul put out there. Just tackle one thing that just Paul did.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, tackle the second one.
And here's the best part, is that there's videos on YouTube all day long teaching this stuff. For free. And the thing is that it's available. The information is available. Okay, it's not that it's not available, it's that we're just and I was the same way, dude. I was the same way for a long time. And we hired outside companies to try to do this for us until I decided, okay, I need to figure out how to do this so that I'm not so powerless.
I know, but
I'm gonna get to you.
sorry. I'm just thinking it's too much work for one person.
Yeah, you're gonna need a team.
You're an assistant.
That's the thing.
Eventually, you will need a team.
Yeah.
But you know what? Eventually, as you start, see, if I was to give you 30 clients right now, what would you do?
Jump on them.
You get what I'm saying? To manage those 30 people, and see, and the only reason I can speak from experience is because I remember when that happened to us, when we got like 30 or 40 properties because of the REOs. All of a sudden, just boop, they gave us those 30, 40 properties. And we had to figure out really, really fast with Sylvia how we were gonna run this thing, right? We didn't know. So the point is that, yeah, you're gonna have to learn how to delegate some of this. You're gonna have to learn how to hand it off. And you're gonna have to learn how to build a team. But you're gonna have to learn how to do that anyway because you can't be at all places at all times. And when you start to become even more successful, that's just a part of the growth. The only difference is that I'm making you feel a little bit more uncomfortable now versus waiting till you got 30 properties to do it.
So I guess Hamed is just, don't take a look at everything he put up there. Just go take a look at one thing.
I know.
And then do it. And then there is such a thing as people waste a lot of time with low payoff activities versus high payoff activities. So let me tell you why. If I would have followed, let's just say, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the last 30 days, all of a sudden I got into the social media thing and I had to start revving it up. I went to a couple of door knocking sessions. I got a couple of people. They said, just follow with me. He's been on Facebook. He's been on social media. Okay, I've been calling him, texting him. He hasn't responded. He listed with somebody else because that guy was on social media. So it was just on a different platform. But I door knocked him. I did all the hard work and then I lost them.
Yeah, that's the other thing you have to consider, you guys. And you're pretty good at it anyway, Ahmed. But think about this: if you do get a prospect,
Not enough.
and then it's between you and somebody else, and your online presence is pretty much nothing, and then they go and look up that other person's online presence, and the other person's online presence is all over the place, and they have reviews, and they have this, and they have that. Who do you think they're gonna pick?
Right.
Yeah.
Social proof.
Yeah, I lost it because of that.
And what did you want to say?
Oh, quick question. I used to be in the wedding industry, and what's gonna happen with technology, it's like when everybody would hire wedding photographers and spend thousands of dollars, and then all of a sudden, everybody starts using, your cousin, your sister, your brother is using their phone to take pictures at the wedding for a deal. So you really have to customize and say, I'm here to help you, and you really want the professional touch.
Right.
Because otherwise, technology, people are gonna think, I can be my own agent,
We're dispensable.
or whatever, we're not gonna be, helpful,
Well, that's already happening.
yeah.
It's already well, Purple Bricks is.
It's going.
They're about to.
They're implode.
They had their earnings call, I think, already, but they're leaving Australia.
They already did.
They had the earnings call,
Yeah.
and it didn't go so hot. So
Yeah.
I'm because I'm live. I'm not gonna say what the results are or what I think the results are. But anyway, the point is that people are already gonna argue that we are dispensable, and so the way to counteract that is to make sure that you provide value. It's value, 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 value. And the thing is, when you're in a transaction, that's especially when we're in escrow, that's where we shine. Because the truth is that that's when all hell breaks loose, right? Except for like Stone, right now you're dealing with one where you're dealing with the hell initially. So
Yeah. And that, I have a personal question. Do you think, because like how you said, it is overwhelming, so instead of getting an assistant and blah, 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 I know a lot of top producers have partners. Do you think that's a good way of going about it? Because that's like how me and Angel sell ourselves right now a little bit. In door knocking, you're getting 2 for the price of 1. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's not like we're asking for 12% commission on any listing. We're still asking for the regular 6%. And then you have 4 eyes on everything instead of just, do you know what I mean?
So there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great idea. Just you have to make sure that the work is divided up equally.
Right.
Because what starts to happen is that if the work isn't divided up equally, then
Then you gotta-
it creates resentment. That's
I was just saying that or hire an
yeah,
assistant.
either
okay.
one is fine.
Okay.
But then that also means that the two of you, when you do have a partnership, one has to complement the other.
Yeah.
So if one person is really good at some of the techie stuff, then let the other person focus on something else. But like, you don't want to have 2 people that aren't good at like techie.
Or just
or
good in the same,
yeah,
area. Yeah.
Because then really the partnership doesn't complement itself. Questions, comments, yeah.
I just want to add something about the value. I learned in a very, very hard way. When you give them the value and when you build the trust with your client, even after that, I realized that you have to be so careful because of all activities happening to just keep that trust in high level.
Yeah.
Anytime they can lose it, you know.
Right.
Well, there's going to be, listen, you guys, there will be many times during a transaction where you will be the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're,
Monster.
you're the
Bad guy.
villain during the process. And you have to again detach yourself from what's going on, because you remember that the client is going through a whirlwind of emotions. So they're going up and they're going down. They're going up and they're going down. I mean, there's times where I have to text my client. I preface a text message with, "Hey, I have to give you some news, and I'm sorry that every time I'm texting you, it's like it feels like all I'm doing is delivering bad news. But I need to make sure that you can depend on me for bringing you the truth, right?" And so that's just the reality. The reality is, they will associate us to a certain degree with a certain amount of pain during the process. But once it's over, 99% of them love you. Once it's over, 99% of them love you. But during that process, be forewarned, you will be treated sometimes as the villain, as if you're doing something wrong. But it's really just the process. Yeah?
You mentioned how to follow up on people, like you have expired listing, and all of a sudden you've been verified them, and you show up everywhere. In their email, do they not get a little bit weirded out?
Sometimes.
Okay.
But a lot of times they're not checking every single platform.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that's
look, but here's what I've heard. So I when I call someone, I know I'm doing a good job when the first thing they say was, "Oh, hey Paul, I saw your email the other day." I didn't open it, but I saw it came in. That's when I know that, okay, I'm reaching them from a variety of different touch points, okay?
Well, for me, I'm very reluctant to bug. I'm just recently getting a few contacts from open houses. And so we have one, through Robert taught me how to do it with FICA. She's working on her credit. So we're in a message. And she doesn't respond soon enough, so I don't respond at all. And then I'm thinking, I don't want to bug her. I don't want to throw something in there, so I'm reluctant to pursue that. Even though I want to so bad, I don't want to be that agent that goes, I'm going to drive them crazy.
Somebody else
So
won't
it's
care
such
and
a
they'll take
hard
your business.
balance.
See,
Okay,
that's
so-
Yeah.
Somebody
But
else
see-
won't care and they'll take your,
Yeah.
they'll take your
I
business.
just
will.
feel, okay.
So
That's hard for
you know, we use the analogy of dating all the time, okay? And so typically, you have to think about when you're with someone, the person that you were dating, or if you were the person courting that person that you were dating, if you were too cool and you're like, no big deal, I'll take him or her or leave her, like that doesn't interest anybody. There's nothing appealing about that. But when someone feels like they want me, like, hey man, this person really appreciates me. This person
You gotta
really
turn them on.
wants
So
me.
better to bug them more than not enough.
But see, again,
See, I'm
it's
turned
all-
off by the bugging thing.
It's all about being tactful, and at the end of the day, are you really bugging them?
Right,
Are you see, the problem is that we think that we're bugging.
yeah.
But if they've expressed, see, I don't have a problem with somebody saying, Paul, I'm not selling. Cool, no problem, I appreciate that. But see, if they said there's a possibility, if they said I might make a move, if they said I might have a job transfer, if they said my wife might want to sell, if they said that to me, then I'm not bugging. I'm just following up with something that they told me. Now, if they said I'm not selling, dude, cool. Now I know.
Right.
Fair enough. Now, if I was to call that person back, now I'm bugging. Yeah.
She obviously showed interest. She stood at the open house for an hour.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
she was
Yeah,
wonderful.
go
We
back.
talked, we had a personal
You can honor
connection.
every week.
But
Yeah.
then once we started with the email with FICA,
Show
it
better
just seemed to
house.
shut down. It was almost like she
Start
got
texting.
scared.
Start texting.
On just she and I instead of in the group. Okay.
Yeah.
Make them your friend. Your friend's gonna buy more than anybody
I'll
else.
buy her a
You know
drink
what I
if
mean?
she'll, get this grandthing.
But also-
My friend, she's like, we were just talking, she's like, oh, I wanna get Bimbo, I wanna buy a house, I wanna buy a house. I'm like, okay, we're just having drinks, she's drunk, whatever. And then yesterday, her sister-in-law and her boyfriend called me, hey, we wanna get Bimbo now. So I got one already and I'm working on the other two, but I felt like she felt like,
I
she's
get
my
so
friend, I don't wanna
nervous, yeah.
bug her.
Well, I've had
And
a
then
couple
she reached
people
out
do
to me,
that.
so now I'm kinda on top of it.
No, you need to
Okay.
be though.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your friend or your family.
Yeah, so
You know?
that's,
Well-
I see how
That's
she
hard,
feels,
so,
but like,
yeah.
you don't wanna be that person when she's on and she wants to buy.
Okay, but now here's the flip side to that. So what happens if they go with somebody else and that other person doesn't do a good job, or that other person causes them to lose money? Then how would you feel then? Whose fault was it then? Was
Yeah.
it your fault for not trying hard enough to make them aware of you, or was it the fact that, or is that just an indication of you not caring enough?
Yeah.
That's all this, right?
Okay, I just bugged
But
them.
but I also believe, because I have several clients that way, and I'll text them. I'll tell them, okay, I see that you're not ready to make a move. I'm here when you're ready, and then I'll text them like a week or two down the line. I say, are you ready to move forward now?
But that's
I mean-
the whole point of having all those systems,
Right,
right?
but you
Because
gotta
have the
cross that. You gotta
emails, if
you're
you
not.
have the Facebook ads, if you have all those things that are going on, now it's just passive stuff, and they're seeing that stuff, and it's not really you calling them as much anymore, which is
Right.
why you need to have these systems.
Well, you got some clients that are not
She's
all
not
over
email
that, different
savvy,
platforms.
No. She doesn't like
You know.
email, she uses text.
I have a
So-
couple. I have a couple of buyers that I'm following up with them, and they're not in the LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. They're not. They
Some
see.
people are not, you're right.
Right.
So, but
Especially the
but
older
my
you know, but
generation.
that demographic is, that's shrinking,
you-
it's shrinking.
yeah. But see, those are the younger crowd. They're in it. The older crowd are
I
not
would,
necessarily.
I would venture
Hold
to
on, hold
say
on.
45 to 50, 55 and under are still doing it.
Cool. But you may have some clients that are a little older than that. So then they're not, and that's where you basically tell them, hey, listen, I don't want to bother you, and if I do, please let me know. But we talked about this. Where do you want to go? And then pick it up from there.
Rob has a point, like with the demographic, it can make a difference, but I actually just door knocked someone that I got an address capture from the old days. And I was there with the son, or the grandson, talking to him, because the owner wasn't home. And he's like, oh yeah, it's probably my dad. He's always on Facebook. I'm like, oh, our granddad. He's like 80. I was like, because you never know kids, so it's actually they're pretty active on Facebook.
Listen, you'd be surprised. I just went to an appointment on Thursday, and then I'm gonna close out with this one. So I went to an appointment on Thursday. She was also from Bowling Leeds, and she asked for a home evaluation. And the poor woman is probably in her early 70s, and she's trying to get a reverse mortgage and then sell right after that.
Oh,
But she needs a reverse mortgage so that she could have
some cash.
some money.
Mhm.
And she's like, I'm waiting for the reverse mortgage money to kick in, whatever. But she and I had been communicating all through text. All through text. She was texting me back and forth, okay? And so when I got there and I had the meeting with her, it was actually a little sad. I bought her pizza. Because she was saying that she just got out of the hospital, whatever. And I'm not trying to get brownie points for that, but this is why I'm sharing the story. So I leave, and then I call her back because I just wanted to see how she was doing. But my phone kept having the scam alert, so she kept
blocking.
She kept sending in a voicemail. Then finally she calls me back, and she's like, "What the do you want? Why do you keep trying to scam me?" I'm like, "Mrs. So and So, I'm the guy that just bought you the pizza." And she's like, "Oh." So she only communicated with me through text, and then the one time that I did try to do it through the phone, all hell broke loose. So anyway, okay guys, look, 54 contacts a day. Okay, I need you to commit to 54 contacts a day.
Go jump out of 54 airplanes, dude.
Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, do whatever you want. Look, let's say you do this and it doesn't work out, and it only works out 40% of the time. Would you be okay with making $40,000 on the next one? Exactly. Set a goal. Try to hit that goal. You know the numbers now. You understand how to do it. If you need help with any of those services, please come see me. Okay? I don't want to hear nobody told me about that. Okay? Come into the office. I'll walk you through how to use it. Start using it. All right?
Cool.
Okay, guys. Let's go.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.